Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marnise Nicole and I'm an acrylic painter, and I have finally completed my 14 days of love art challenge. So I love artist challenges. I love the idea of them. I love that I can have a measurable goal, a measurable result, and a definite conclusion or ending for a challenge. This makes it easy for me to follow along, track my progress, and finally have a finish line to cross when you've completed everything. And the only problem with that is that for most of the challenges that artists have out there, I never complete them. I fail miserably with these challenges. I'm talking about Inktober, failed twice. Mermaid, didn't even hear about it, but when I did hear about it, I attempted it and failed. All of these different challenges that you have around, I try and I do not succeed. Sometimes it's because of the length and trying to consistently paint, daily paint. It's really hard for me. I have a full-time job and life, so I don't often have enough time to create these full nice rendered paintings, and when I have to do something half-assed, I completely get destroyed. I'm not happy with it. I feel so dejected, and then I quit. I also sometimes don't click with the themes for the whole month of challenges. Sometimes it'll start off strong and I'll get into a lull and I'm like, oh, that was an okay challenge, or I guess I'll do this, and then I don't create something that I fully love, and then I get dejected and I fail. And there's this kind of repeating theme here. I attempt and I start off strong, and then I definitely just slide away. And so I wanted to, for 2018, create my own challenge, something I know I would be very happy with to complete, and I loved it so much I'm going to do it next year as well, and hopefully open it up to you guys, fellow artists, new artists. I hope you all participate, but that's a year away, so let's get into the actual results of this challenge. So I decided to do 14 days of love art. I wanted to do 14 days of love art, and this is a challenge that I chose for a couple of reasons. First, Valentine's Day is in February and my birthday falls in that month, so I knew I would have days off, time off where I could have, extra time to do extra work if I needed to. I knew that it's a slower month and 14 days is less of a hassle than actually doing a month-long challenge. And I had a set theme. I could do something that's surrounding love, and it's something I feature in my work all of the time. I love to celebrate Black couples and Black love and love in general. I love to include that theme throughout my work, and especially in the paintings for this particular series. I wanted to focus on creating more provocative art with more painterly style brush strokes, and I wanted to explore what I could come up with if the goal was to make something themed around Valentine's Day and love and sex and hate and relationships. So that's what I went ahead with. I also had the goal of working on facial expressions. I had this idea to do these tender, intimate moments through each canvas so that you see a couple at various stages of intimacy, and I wanted to work on the expressions you get from that. I feel like when you are in an intimate moment, that is when you have your realest expressions and your most openness to share yourself with that person, with the world, with whomever. And I wanted to try to capture those moments throughout my art. I am always trying to capture these little moments. For this challenge, I wanted to capture these intimate moments between these couples, and I don't paint expressive faces a lot. You would think so. My work is definitely more expressively painted. I have a bold brushstroke style. I have these captured moments that I bring to you on a canvas, but something as explicit as actual facial expressions, joy, lust, love, getting that feeling across. I don't think I've ever done that effectively in my work, and so that was the goal. I wanted to try and do that. And for the first piece, I feel like I was so successful. This piece, even from a distance, I feel like you can kind of tell that this is a private moment that you've just walked in, and that was definitely the goal. I did it on these little 4x6 Pro panels. These are from the Da Vinci line, and I really like them. Firstly, I chose to do 4x6s because I assumed painting on a smaller surface would actually be a faster process, and that I could quickly get these done in an hour less, 30 minutes tops. That is not the case. This particular piece took me 3 hours to do. When you paint small, you actually have to use more detail. You have to be more specific. You don't have the room to be expressive and have your eye make room for anything that's lacking. You have to give that detail here. And so for this piece in particular, I worked on this for 3 hours. I didn't finish until 1 o'clock. And from there, I knew my challenge would evolve. But just creating this piece, I was so thrilled because this is one of the most successful pieces I think I've done all year. This is my most talked about piece. It was so raved about. I had so many conversations about this piece on and offline, and people love this. The expression, the moment, the singularness of this, the intimacy, everything about it. And I have not gotten that type of interaction or feedback on any other piece before. My next two pieces were on the same kind of vein and with the same kind of almost positioning, very intimate close-up. And that would be first this piece right here, more in shadow than definitely very dark. And then finally this piece right here, which I'm holding the wrong way. Here we go. And so the first 3 days for me were very successful. I kind of immediately had this style in mind that I wanted to explore and examine and take to the fullest. I really still, even after it's been several days and my challenge is complete, I'm still in love with that style. I'm going to continue on with it throughout the rest of the year and play with the style and see where it can take me. I love just what I was able to produce with this theme, and so I'm not going to leave it alone. I'm definitely going to continue. Day 4, I worked on this piece right here, and I'll bring that up for you, with a woman. She's in just a bra and she is sitting with another man behind her. He's kissing her shoulder, you know, giving love in that way. And it's very shiny. I'm sorry, I did use gloss medium over all of them, and so that's where that reflectiveness is coming in. For the next couple of days, I switched up the background, and I do and don't like this. I switched to a red background, starting off with this piece right here, and this was day 5. This piece is a girl laying across her boyfriend or husband, and they're kissing, and just I like the tones that I got with this. I switched up the skin tones, I switched up the background, you know, I actually left some of the red to show through, so it's kind of very painterly. I really like this piece in particular. And then I had my first kind of everyone is their worst critic, and so I know you may see these next pieces and you may not feel like they're bad, or you might not dislike them, but they didn't fit the style that I particularly was going for. And I also know that I didn't spend nearly as much time as I did on the first 5 pieces. So these next ones I spent less than an hour on each, and I feel like you can tell. Again, with smaller pieces, you need to have that patience, you need to work and give those details because they make all of the difference. But I was having busy work days and I was getting off really late, so I didn't have as much time to work on these as I wanted to. But still, here is day 6. And this one, not so much an intimate moment, but they're, you know, staring into each other. She's looking away, she's blushing. So this was more a flirty moment, you know, she's oh, you're so sweet, you know, one of those moments. And he's like giving her all of the compliments. I really don't like her hair. That's my one problem with it. I feel like it brings it to a more fun kind of theme from the more provocative and, you know, romantic theme I was going for. But here's that piece. And then I have this one. Now this girl, you can only see her top half. Her head is thrown back. And we don't know what's going on anywhere else in the photo, but for this moment, she's just in a nightshirt with her head thrown back, and here's that piece. Now this piece I particularly liked too, but again, I wish I would have taken the time to work on this more. And so it was with these pieces that I decided some of these I may repaint over. And I'd really love to hear your thoughts. Do you think I should keep them as is, or do you think I should, you know, try to go a little further with some of the ones that I'm not so happy with and see if that I can get them to the level that I want them to. So here's that. Now these next two, I tried to try a new background, you know, switch it up a little bit with Valentine being the theme of this month and 14 Days of Love art. I tried pink and I wanted to use the same kind of tones that I did throughout the other pieces. It wasn't as successful in my opinion. I really am not fond of these two, but we have this piece right here and this piece right here. Bringing those up a little closer, I don't think I got the skin tones in any way more appropriate for these pieces. It kind of just seems very drab in my opinion. These two pieces in particular, I'm really thinking about starting over from scratch and repainting. So those are that. This piece, I love the idea, but I don't think I captured it appropriately. So the reference photo, a man was standing over a girl and she was laid across the bed. I just focus on the girl being laid across the bed, but I don't think that theme comes across. I'm happy with the photo. I think her bust is probably a little too big, so I should resize that maybe. But this is that piece. This piece is of a couple and they're just snuggling in bed. And so I have this here and I like it, but I wanted to go in and fix the skin tone and the coloring a little bit. Maybe darken the background more a tad bit. But the actual reference and the kind of shaping that I got out, I really like. This piece, I only spent 30 minutes on. So if you can see that this did not come out well, that would be why. I definitely want to go back and work on this piece. She's supposed to be laying, he's on top of her, but the shadowing isn't right, I don't feel like, and just it needs more work. I didn't put enough time into this piece, but there we go. This piece right here, I really love. The only thing I want to do is darken the background a tad bit. But other than that, I really love this piece and I would love to see what it looked like as a bigger piece. I'm kind of afraid to make these pieces bigger. I feel like I won't be able to capture the same kind of details and the same feeling if they are more bigger pieces, but still, maybe I should try anyway. I don't know. This piece right here, this is literally the throes of passion. Her head's back, his head is clearly all up in this area. He's doing whatever he's doing. That highlight on his arm though, this piece I really like. But just, you know, where the blue is kind of standing out around his head and her arm, I want to darken a little bit. But I really like this piece. And finally, the last piece that I have in this series for the 14 Days of Love art is actually a frame. I got this from a giveaway, an art giveaway, months and months ago, and I never used it. I was waiting for like the perfect moment, and I wanted to use it for this in particular because it has a heart cut out. So you put a photo here, and so for this I did an elegant evening out, and this piece I really like, but I also feel like I need to do more with the background. But this is just a couple going out. They're in their evening best and they're going out to opening or gala event, and they're just looking at each other with smiles and love in their hearts. And this, you would put like an anniversary photo or something like that in this. And that was the last piece for my 14-day challenge. Now, a few things that I learned from this challenge. Firstly, I learned that the longer I work on pieces, the more successful they are. All of the pieces that I spent 3-4 hours on, those came out so significantly more pronounced and better in my opinion than the pieces I spent a half an hour on. And clearly I need to work more in that vein, working slower, working on smaller canvases maybe to build up skills. I'm going to definitely take that into consideration going forward. Another thing I learned is that I suck at painting mouths. Everything else, eyes, noses, expressions, I really got a hang of that, especially with these little tiny canvases. But mouths, the mouth, the most important part of your face, because it's the part that you communicate the most with. I suck at painting mouths, and so in that vein, I actually want to do a week-long challenge in March. I don't think I'll ever do another 14-day one because, you know, that was a lot for me, but I think I'll do a week challenge. I think I'm gonna do that in March, and my focus will be lips, mouths, speaking, gasping, different expressions just on this little area right here, which I think is much needed, especially because I don't paint a lot of live subjects. I paint mostly from photo or from my imagination, and painting these mouths, maybe painting just my mouth every day for a week, I feel like that'll be a great challenge for me, and it'll be a way that I can continue on these series. So I will definitely share if you'd like to join me in this little mini challenge. I'll definitely share the information below about the dates and everything like that. But yeah, that's the next subject, mouths. And the last thing I learned is that I can do challenges. I have to make them work for me, and I shouldn't jump into challenges just because they're popular, or because everyone else is doing them, or because it sounds like a great idea. I should work on challenges and things that I appreciate that I can do that are going to help me grow as an artist. I don't work with inks, and while it was fun to play around with them, you know, work with them for the amount of time I did in Inktober, I also never really grasped a love of inks, and so it wasn't as beneficial for me. But this 2-week challenge of painting realistic expressions and love and sex and subjects, all of that was very successful for me. I have grown so much, and I love the skills that I picked up, and just the amount and time that I worked on these pieces, and I learned so much about myself and the subject matter I want to explore and paint. And anyway, that is this artist diary. My name is again Marnise Nicole. I'm an acrylic painter. Turn back every Tuesday for more videos. I'm always here. Subscribe right here if you'd like to see more. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.